In this week of video, we will be looking at Duterte sumugod sa Quadcom, WPS na isa batas, LRT Phase 1 bukas na, at marami pang iba. Actually, wala na, but anyway, for me, this is a board Joseph and welcome to News and Review Recap, Regular Edition number 77. We have done some covered since last week, so skip to the answers provided if it piques your interest. Here are some page news commentary for your convenience. Duterte sumugod sa Quadcom. Nainis si dating Presidente Rodrigo Duterte sa mga patotsyada ng ilang miyembro ng House of Representatives dahil sa mga paulit-ulit niyang sinasabing hindi siya a-attend.
Sa Miyerkules, the day after tomorrow, ang dating Presidente Rodrigo Roa Duterte ay dadalo dyan sa Quad Committee hearing. Kaugnay dyan sa mga extrajudicial killing na yan. Tingnan natin yung mga tapang nitong mga mga kongresistang ito. Makakaharap na nila, yung hinahamon nila. Hindi sila uurungan ito.
Well, kinancel ng House Quad Committee yung meeting nila at nasabi rin sa kampo ni Duterte na hindi matutuloy. Pero probably through PR imaging, sumugot si Panelo after sila ma-inform internally na kanselado yung meeting ng Quadcom. Sinabi niya na pupunta kami ni Mr. President bukas dyan, where Duterte previously agreed to join the hearing. Sinabihan ni Duterte na duwag at takot ang Quadcom na harapin sila. Sinabi nila Panelo at Duterte na pupunta sila sa batasang pambansa at kumprantahin ang Quadcom dahil sa sinasabing bigla ang pag-cancel ng hearing when Duterte agreed to attend said hearing matapos ang ilang kanyang oras, ilang araw at ilang beses niyang pag-deny. We remember from a few weeks ago sa bombshell na pag-amin ni retired Police Colonel Garma na tinawag siya ni Duterte para maghanap ng isang INC operative na masisikmura at kakayanin i-implement ang kanyang Davao-style drug war in the national scale. Now, nung una, ine-echo ko pa yung sinasabi ni Duterte na bakit kailangan pang sabihin ni Garma na INC operative ang gustong kunin ni Duterte? Bakit niya pa kailangang i-disparage ang isang respetadong religious institution? Pero after niya i-deny ng i-deny, inamin niya rin na ang gusto niya talagang kunin ay isang INC operative dahil hindi raw ito makukurap, which I guess is a compliment to the entire congregation.
So I am now asking Mr. President, with your corroboration in that interview, does that not jibe with what Colonel Garma is saying?
It does not jibe because I was looking for a particular person. Maybe a member of a sect, but it had to be one who has the brain and the balls. Alam mo, that is why we are not succeeding because drug money is supporting the syndicate. Madali ang pera. Nagpibigay ng pera yan. Huwag na tayo magbulahan dito.
Because you're talking about drug money and how it corrupts people.
Yes, that is why.
So
That is why sinabi ko, Iglesia ni Cristo.
So, tama
Kasi
po.
ang Iglesia ni Cristo, normally, hindi mo talaga makorap. Hindi natatanggap ng pera, alam ko kasi mayor ako. You cannot easily corrupt a member of an Iglesia ni Cristo who is a policeman or soldier. Yan, that is the explanation.
Now, since then, Garma was found to have left the country papuntang US kaya't agarang pinabalik na siya dahil nakansela ang kanyang visa sa US dahil nga meron siyang mga potential human rights abuses na nagawa sa Pilipinas, because that's what the US automatically cancels the visa. Now, sinabi niya rin na mayroong clear-based reward system sila Duterte para ma-encourage ang kapulisan na kumitil ng kumitil. Well, napilitan tuloy ang Quadcom na harapin si Duterte at Panelo dahil nandiyan sila ay anong magagawa pa, di ba? Pinamamadali ni Duterte ang ICC sa kanilang investigasyon regarding his war on drugs na kumitil ng 6 to 30,000 na suspected drug users, pushers, at makers. Sinabi niyang handa siyang pumunta sa ICC kung bibigyan siya ng pamasahe and possibly accommodation para isurrender ang sarili sa ICC matapos ng kanilang investigasyon.
Yung former president ba ay willing na mag-cooperate sa investigation sa ICC? Kaugnay dito?
ICC, ma'am. I'm asking the ICC to hurry up, and if possible, they can come here and start the investigation tomorrow. This issue has been left hanging for so many years. Matagal, ma'am. Baka mamatay na ako, hindi na nila ako maimbestiga. So I'm asking the ICC through you na pagpunta na sila dito bukas, umpisahan na nilang investigation. And if I am found guilty, I will go to prison and rot there for all time.
Will you voluntarily submit yourself?
Sipain ko pa sila, ma'am.
But you said a while ago that if somebody will sponsor your fare to the ICC, you will voluntarily submit yourself to their investigation and jurisdiction.
Yes. Pero kung sila magpunta dito, sipain ko.
I mean, the balls on this guy. I mean, kaya idol ko si Duterte. As in, yung salita lang siya ng salita. To which, Malacanang released a statement saying na hindi nila pipigilan si Duterte na pumunta ng ICC kung gusto niya talagang isuko yung kanyang sarili. Sinabi rin ni Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin na kung mailalagay sa red notice si Duterte, susundin daw nila ang motion nitong hulihin si Duterte in cooperation with the Interpol o International Police. Now, let's get back to the Quadcom hearing. Nakatabi ni Duterte si dating Senadora Laila de Lima at Shell Diokno sa unang araw na kanyang pag-attend sa hearing. Hindi katulad sa Senado na may tao in between sa kanilang dalawa at sa kanilang tatlo. Magkatabi sila ngayon. Nang tinanong ni Gabriela Representative Arlene Brosas si Duterte kung nakapatay na siya, sinagot niya ito ng diretsahan. Sinabi niya rin totoo ang sinabi niya noon na nagpaplanta sila ng ebidensya sa mga hinuhuling suspect sa Davao.
Mr. President, meron po kayong sinabi nung 2016 sa interview niyo po that you have planted evidence during your time as a fiscal. Is this true? Hindi po totoo.
That's garbage, sir.
So yung pong nasabi niyo sa video, hindi po siya totoo.
Alam ng mga pulis yan. Yung planting of evidence.
Election days. We planted evidence. We arrested persons, but we released them. But telling him that it was this person who squealed on him. And then we, when he goes out but killing, then we said that it was this fellow who really did it, who did you in. We first planted the intrigues so that we would know where they were from, where they came from. It was not until I was the favorite whipping boy.
So Mr. President, hindi po totoo yung nasa video po. Ano po, Mr. President?
Totoo yan.
So nagpa-plant po talaga kayo ng evidence?
Well, that was a part of the strategy as a mayor and as the leader of the law enforcement agency in the city.
Pati rin ang utos niyang pagpatay sa mga nagsisynthesize ng illegal na droga. Pero hinanay niya na kasama doon sa polisiya na kanyang sinasabi na pagpatay sa mga gumagawa at purveyor ng droga ay kasama doon ang mga drug addict at mga drug pusher sa polisiya na yon.
We are trying to encourage our citizens to kill all those addicts.
No, not addicts, to kill the criminals. Not addicts, because addicts are victims of the criminals running the drug syndicates. Mali yan, sir. Mali yan.
Mr. President, kasi there is a report na nagsalita po kayo noong July 1, 2016 that was covered by The Guardian. At sinabi niyo po dito, if you know of any addicts, go ahead and kill them yourself, as getting their parents to do it would be too painful.
I am talking of the drug manufacturers and drug dealers.
At hindi totoo yung reward-based system na sinasabi ni Garma na nagre-range from 20,000 to 1 million pesos. Now, sinabi niya rin hindi totoo ang sinasabi ni self-confessed DDS Arturo Las Cañas sa sinasabi niyang pagpatay ng mga suspect at kritiko gamit ang Davao Death Squad niya.
Totoo po ba ang sinasabi ni Las Cañas? Gano'n nyo po ba katagal nakakilala ang taong ito?
Storyteller yan, sir. Si Raulo.
Pero matagal nyo na po siyang kilala.
Pero, police, pero later on, maybe because sa karaming pinatay niya, hinabol siya ng mga kalag. What's kalag in
Espiritu.
ang espiritu ng pinatay niya. Medyo bungog ngayon.
Nung ipinaglalaban niya yung 200 people na kanyang pinatay, dahil naniniwala po siya sa nobility ng kanyang sinasabi po ninyo na this is being done because of public service.
I am now
Yes, sir.
Pero diba sinabi niya noong nakaraan sa Senado na meron talaga siyang death squad noon. Sabi niya yon sa Senado nung nakaraan lang eh. Bakit ngayon sinasabi niya hindi totoong sinasabi ni Las Cañas? Unless ang sinasabi ni Duterte na hindi parte at hindi leader si Las Cañas ng DDS. Pero totoo na meron siyang death squad. I mean, please, clarify niyo po, sir, kasi conflicting ang lumalabas na nangyayari sa mga testimony nyo at mga pinagsasabi nyo sa hearing ng Kamara at Senado. Idinenay niya rin ang ilan pang mga sinasabi ni dating Police Colonel Garma tulad ng paggawa ng task force para i-implement ang war on drugs, saying na pulis lang ang pwedeng gumawa ng ganyan. Duterte also denied congratulating Padilla on a job well done and instructing the police to kill the Chinese nationals na nasa isang Davao Penal Colony noong 2016. Sabi niya, ba't ko sila sasabihan ng job well done? Hindi ko makakilala yang si Padilla. Nag-inat din ang mga patutsada ni na FPRRD at dating Senador Laila de Lima nang mabungkal uli ang kanilang history, particularly sa investigasyon ni then CHR Chairperson de Lima sa Davao Death Squad that garnered international controversy, which is why finokus ni de Lima ang CHR para investigahan ang Davao Death Squad.
Sa paulit-ulit din pong sinabi ng dating mayor, ng dating pangulo, na yung pumatay mismo, yun ang may personal guilt. Totoo. Yung gunman, yung hitman, yung assassin, siya mismo ang pumatay. Siyempre, personal guilt na yan. Pero wag nating kalimutan yung sinabi po kanina ni Honorable Congresswoman Luistro. If there is such a thing or a principle ng personal guilt, meron din yung principle of conspiracy or theory. Yung dating Pangulo, dating Mayor, siya ang malinaw na principal by inducement because he ordered, he solicited, he induced yung mga pagpatay. Kanina po, napansin nyo, hindi nga niya po masabi yung pangalan ko. Ayaw niya pong kilalanin kung sino yung dating Commission on Human Rights Chairperson. Sabi daw, again, nung tinatanong o dun sa mga punto ni Congresswoman Luistro, hindi niya kilala kung sino man yan, yung taga-CHR na yan. Nagtataka po ako doon. He's lying when he said that he does not know Laila de Lima. How can he say that he does not know Laila de Lima? Unang-una, nung DDS, yung hearing po namin, yung CHR inquiry sa Davao on the DDS killings, siya po, as then mayor, ang pinakauna na tinawag namin as resource person.
Thank you, Senator.
Iba na kasi ang hirdo niya kasi hindi mo kilala.
Mr. President, may I remind you that please refrain from talking unless you are recognized by the
Yes, I
chair.
was just making a statement.
Yeah,
Hindi ko na nakilala, iba ng hirdo niya eh.
I'm just reminding the
Pati yung kulay ng
resource
buhok.
person. So the next to interpolate.
Inambangan ng suntok ni Duterte si de Lima nung hindi siya nakatingin. Parang inis na si Duterte. Napadaan din sa hearing ng Quadcom si dating Senator Antonio Trillanes IV na nag-allege ng mga bank account statements ng mga Duterte alleging drug money at anomalies sa mga bank account statements na of course ikinagalit ni Duterte.
Maraming salamat, Mr. Chairman. Ito pong dokumentong ito po yung naging basis ko nung plunder case na final ko kay Duterte noong 2016. At ito po ay inimbestigahan ng Ombudsman At ang Deputy Ombudsman, Arthur Carandang, and I think the Quadcom can invite him, siya ang nag-conduct ng investigation. Humingi siya ng dokumento sa AMLAC at kinonfirm niya. And because of that, tinanggal ni Duterte si Deputy Ombudsman. We've been there before. Nagsabi na yan siya na magbibigay siya ng waiver. Puro bluff yan. Pero hindi, kaya nga mas maganda kung ma-draft na po natin yan ngayon para papirmahan niya yan dito, no? Para wala ng alibay.
Just so that we can put to rest this issue of waivers, because it's been going back and forth. Will the former president be okay that if we draft the waiver now, that it be signed today instead of tomorrow? Will you be fine with that, Mr. President?
Anong kapalit, sir?
Hindi.
Sampalin ko siya sa publiko.
Hindi. Wala naman.
Ngayon na.
Wala pong ganunan.
Mr. Chairman.
I'll give you, sasampalin ko sa
Mr. Chairman.
Session suspended.
Session suspended.
West Philippine Sea isinabatas. Isinabatas na sa paglagda ni President Ferdinand Marcos ang RA 12064 o Philippine Maritime Zones Act at RA 12065 o the Archipelagic Sea Lanes Act na naglalayong bigyan ng konkretong claim at stake ang Pilipinas sa mga teritoryong sakop ng itinakdang Exclusive Economic Zone ng UN base sa UNCLOS. Ikinongkodify ng mga batas na ito yung mga polisiya in compliance with the United Nations Conventions on the Laws of the Sea at na ginagamit nating basehan ng ating claim sa West Philippine Sea. Now, ako matagal nang sinasabi na huwag sana nating gawing basehan itong UNCLOS dahil wala namang tong magagawa. Yung mga diplomatic protest natin na ginagamit every time na may incursion o pangharas sa ating mga Chinong Coast Guard. I've already made a few videos regarding this and you can watch it sa aking channel. Pero basically what I said in those videos para hindi mo napuntahan or balikan pa ulit unless you want to is that we are not worth the geopolitical hassle ng paglalaban ng US at People's Republic of China. Kaya kahit na meron tayong Mutual Defense Treaty laban sa mga agresibong aksyon na pinaggagawa ng China laban sa ating mga tropa sa West Philippine Sea, tulad ng mga naglalakasang water cannons, pagbablock ng resupply missions sa BRP Sierra Madre and other outposts ng ating gobyerno sa mga islang sakop ng ating bansa. Meron pang nabulag at milyones na nasira sa ating equipments at boats, pati na rin yung pagputol ng daliri ng isa nating tropa. So, marami ng aksyon na would have triggered the Mutual Defense Treaty pero we do not trigger it. Kasi nga again, we are not worth the geopolitical hassle ng labanan ng US at People's Republic of China. Maybe kung tayo ay yung Taiwan with their ASML and the TSMC, siguro makikipaglaban sila para makip tayo as their ally, to have us under their umbrella. However much diplomatic protest they do, however much solidarity ang sasabihin sa atin ng EU, US at ng kung ano pang bansa, nothing will change. Puro salita lamang, kaya we should not stake our claim based on the UNCLOS at UN na magsasalita sa eulogy natin ng mga flowery words. I mean, talagang mahal na mahal namin yung Pilipinas and we are so saddened by their death laban sa kamay ng mga Chino. Nothing will change. Puro salita lamang, kaya we should not stake our claim based on UNCLOS at UN na magsasalita sa ating eulogy ng mga flowery words kahit na kaya naman nila tayong iligtas nung nabubuhay pa tayo. Don't even mention the UNCLOS or even have their definitions on what falls beyond what our territories are. Do not even come close to their definition kasi sasabihin nila na the anchor of our law, of our declaration of sovereignty in our territories is UN, which would be bad if, iniwan na tayo sa ng UN. Just say na nasa ating sovereignty at teritoryo itong mga islang sa atin naman talaga. We should separate ourselves from the UNCLOS dahil tatandaan nating nasa Permanent Security Council ng UN ang People's Republic of China. So, what gives or what the hell would they have in common? Kasi nga again, isang veto lang ng China at ng Russia, tapos ang lahat ng usapan. Kaya kahit anong sinasabi nila in solidarity sa mga pangharas ng China sa sarili nating waters, wala ring mangyayari. We're not strong enough to stand up to a bully like China, nor are we worth the geopolitical hassle of turning against China. Pero, there's light at the end of the tunnel. Trump just won the presidency of the US with 50.9%. At katulad ng mga Democrats, anti-China rin sila. Tariffs galore. He had also planned on appointing Marco Rubio, the senator from Florida, as the Secretary of State, a vocal anti-Chinese war hawk that could implement the anti-Sino rhetoric, particularly the PRC. Maybe gagawin tayong dahilan ni Trump to further push his policies against China. But then again, we are still going to be a pawn in the war, both hot and cold of the incumbent at emerging superpower fighting for global hegemony. Pero kahit na marami akong angal sa laman ng batas na ito, but that's just my nature. Of course, it's a fine law to assert our sovereignty officially without technically needing the UN to justify it for us, without needing the international community to rally behind us. We are an independent woman who don't need no man. Not because we are, but because we had to announce na alam nating insecure tayo in this kind of stuff, that we had to announce na sa amin to, instead of just taking it as ours. Kasi hindi natin kaya. We don't let our policies and actions, when threatened or harassed, speak for our global standing, speak for our standing on business. Of course, this doesn't really do much to affect the things happening in the West Philippine Sea kasi lagi pa rin tayo at lagi pa rin tayo haharasin ng Chinese Coast Guard at mga islands sa loob nito. We will still get bullied on our own turf. But at least now, we have the papers to say that we are getting bullied on our own turf. That's pretty much it. Now, I don't want a war against China. I want peace. I want collaboration. I admire the PRC. I don't want Philippines to be a province of China. I just want the Philippines to stand on business. Of course, sinagot din agad ng China yung paglagda ni PBBM, saying na we should cease any unilateral actions with regards to the complications ng mga dispute. Basically saying, negotiate with us before doing something stupid regarding the West Philippine Sea. And by stupid, we mean anything at all. Here is another PH news for your convenience. LRT1 Phase 1 extension, binuksan na. The long wait is over. Binuksan na ang LRT1 Phase 1 extension na magdadagdag ng 5 estasyon to the existing LRT1 light rail stations that would give access to Parañaque sa linya ng estasyon. Ang mga bagong estasyon ng extension sa inaugurasyon matapos ang baklaran ay ang mga sumusunod: Redemptory Station, Mia Station, Asia World Station, Ninoy Aquino at Dr. Santos Station, which could further help the congestion to the part of the National Capital Region. This is a welcome infrastructure spending na we need to encourage more sa ating mga leader para mas lalo pa nating matanggal ang dependency ng ating mga syudad sa mga kotse na inefficient at pampalala lamang ng traffic. Ang pagbuo natin mga public transportation modes ay magiging solusyon sa milyones sa nawawala kada araw, buwan o taon sa ating bansa. Mababawasan ang congestion, paglakas ng lokal na turismo kasi nga again, accessible ang lahat ng lugar with the public transportation modes na of course would be cheaper. Bilyones na dagdag dahil sa improvement sa ating ekonomiya, mas mabilis at komportableng transportasyon. Dagdagan lang ang ating mga linya, mga tren at low cost pa. We applaud these kind of spending. Marami tayong mga on the way na proyekto ng gobyerno para sa pampublikong transportasyon, mostly rail, which is a step in the right direction. Iwasan na natin yung mga paggawa ng mga marami pang expressway dahil pangmayaman ng mga yan. May sariling kotse ba yung karaniwang tao, yung karaniwang Pilipino? Sa taas ng presyo ng gas, may pambayad ba sa toll ang karaniwang tao? Ako, nakatira ako malapit sa isang highway at expressway. Most of the time, walang laman. Pero traffic sa baba, kung saan libre at walang toll. Another lane won't solve anything, so please do not ever think na one more lane will solve the congestion. At yan ang pagtatapos ng News and Worthy Recap Weekly Edition for roughly the second week of November 2024. Mag-suggest some more topics and or questions to Balitas if you feel I misrepresented them in any way. Salamat sa panonood mga kabayang. Avoid me, like, subscribe, and follow my links in socials and avoid shows that will be linked down below. So susunod, of course,